Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. Almost said review. But this is a paid request for Thompson. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, commentaries, whatever it may be, feel free to send either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I will try to get to it as soon as I can. But this is... He wanted me to do a little bit of a discussion on Keanu Reeves. More so about his recent track record. Now, I like Keanu Reeves. And when I got the request and I read what else he said, I did what he's saying. I did his point of view, Thompson's. Like I was saying, I like Keanu Reeves. I grew up with the guy. River's Edge I reviewed. I liked that film. Bill and Ted, the first two, I highly enjoy. I love the film Speed. I think that's an absolute classic. You know, I like the Matrix trilogy. I like Constantine. I like Street Teens. Yeah, he made some clunkers. But overall, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of films of his I like. And then around 2014, you had John Wick. And then you had sort of a second life for Keanu. And the pop culture... He was in the Cyberpunk video game, all this other stuff, did more and more movie roles. But to be perfectly honest, other than John Wick films, what has he done that's been worth the shit? And when Thompson brought that up, I'm like, that's right. When it's not John Wick, Keanu Reeves' track record is fucking horrible in recent times. You could say the past 10 years. Because even before John Wick, in, was it 2013, you had 47 Ronin? 47 Ronin was an awful, over-bloated movie where it felt like Keanu Reeves was just kind of plugged in to a plot that was already proceeding. Over-bloated, overdone CGI effects, not a compelling story to be seen in sight. 47 Ronin was a big bomb, and it deserved to be a big bomb. Not a good movie in the slightest. There's a reason why it's been forgotten. There's a reason why it bombed so badly. And then after that, what do you have? Other than John Wick, and I love all three John Wick films. Saw all three in the theater, enjoyed every single one. Love the John Wick films. But other than that, like, what? Knock Knock. Knock Knock is his worst movie. It was free pizza! It was free pizza! Yeah, watch 90 to 100 minutes of two annoying twats torturing Keanu Reeves because he plays the dumbest fucking character in a long while. So naive, gullible, and stupid. Gullible and stupid. Gullible and fucking stupid. And Eli Roth, I look at Keanu Reeves, I go, why the fuck did you do this movie, dude? John Wick, this is your follow-up to John Wick? Really? Why? And you helped produce it too, buddy. You helped produce it too. Just his producer, his name was on as producer as well. Siberia? I've seen bits and pieces. It's a boring film that never gets going. And spoiler alert for the ending, you know how Siberia ends? Keanu Reeves gets shot and killed, and then the movie's over. So fuck Siberia. Replicas? Replicas is a very lame, cheap-looking science fiction film. That came out, what, January or something? Like, it's one of those releases that came and went like the wind. It was an idea that maybe could have worked, but you had poor writing, weird character decisions that didn't make a lick of sense, and even the production, the effects were not up to par in the slightest. The way the robots look, and Not an interesting, not an exciting, not a satisfying movie. Replicas was lame. That's the best way to describe Replicas. Fucking lame. Then what else? Bill and Ted 3, Face the Music, overrated bullshit. I know a lot of people still like Bill and Ted 3. To me, it was overrated crap. It looked cheap. Oh, but it only had this budget. You know what? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey did not cost $100 million. Especially when you look at Bogus Journey. You look at the creativity of way they made heaven look, they made hell look. You had the robot versions of Bill and Ted. You had these weird alien creatures. Like, they went all out in creativity. This looked like a cheap direct-to-video film, and it pretty much was released direct-to-video. I mean, to streaming. Wasn't his intention. It was supposed to go to theaters, but went straight to streaming. And that's where it belonged. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Keanu felt off in his performance. Alex Winter did the best he could. But these characters were just losers that failed. Even though I saw them succeed at the end of Bogus Journey, I have the film. I have the film on Blu-ray. I've seen it multiple times. I've seen it again. They succeeded. Their journey, their fate was to make these songs to bring peace to the world. That was the entire fucking point of the Bill and Ted storyline. That was the entire fucking point. If you don't believe me, rewatch the films. Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot the fucking younger brother of Ted's, his name. I just automatically, that makes me not a fan, because that's one thing I fucked up when I reviewed that. I forgot. I'm sorry. What I do remember was what the fucking story of those films were. The fate. That's why George Carlin makes that joke, they do get better, at the end of the first one. At the end of the second one, we saw them fulfill their destiny. Then you come to find out, nah, that wasn't the destiny. That wasn't the destiny. It's for their daughters to do it. Just the daughters, the female Bill, the female Ted. They have to get together and do the first two movies in a span of 20 fucking minutes, it seems. No, they have to go back and through time. They have to get the historical figures. They have to journey to hell. And then escape from hell. They go through the span of 2 fucking films in the span of, technically, to be fair, I don't know, 40 minutes. And what do Bill and Ted do? They go to a future versions of themselves. There's a version of themselves who are assholes. There's a version of themselves that are selfish. There's a version of themselves that are old and ready to die. What the fuck is the point of all this? It wasn't funny. It wasn't like creative. We journey through time. We journey through heaven and hell. And now we journey through midlife crisis. That's really what it was. It was a midlife crisis movie. Oh wow, what's Bill and Ted going to do? They travel through time, they travel through hell and heaven. Now just a quantified version of a midlife fucking crisis. They're losers, they failed, they're doing bingo halls. That ending in Bogus Journey didn't really matter. Because they could barely get taco night. No, because we gotta make room for the 2 fucking girls to do it. It wasn't us all along, it was you. And then people go, well, it was the whole family. No, we know why the fuck they did it. Because every other fucking thing, it can't be Luke, can't be Han and all this, it has to be fucking Rey. It can't be this, you can't just have Neo, it's gotta be Neo and Trinity. And I didn't see the new Matrix film, which I'll get to. But no, it's not just Neo the one, it's Neo and Trinity that are the one. Got to take the shine off one to prop up the other. These women are not represented. That's funny. That's why I watch 85 fucking slasher films from the 80s that fucking did that. How about this? I I want more representation in slasher films. How about that? I want to see more slasher films where it's a guy who's the final boy. I want a final boy. We have a final girl. I want a final boy. Because other than Ash from Evil Dead, there's not a lot of final boys. How about that? I want more final boys. Can I do that in slasher films? I want more. Enough of this final girl shit. Let's have a string of movies with his final boys. That sounds like something, I don't know, Hollywood will like final boys, but you had a movie called The Final Girls. I want to have the final boys. Let's do that. Can we do that? Representation. But I would say that people look at me as a fool. But you do the opposite, but you're not. I mean, no. The door swings both ways. If that's the case, I want to see more slasher films where the guy's the lead and he kicks the bad guy's ass and he's the final guy. I want to see more of that. Since we're equal. But no, Bill and Ted 3, fuck the music, fuck that movie, overrated pile of shit. All the creativity you saw in the first two Bill and Ted is non-existent in Bill and Ted 3. Where's the creativity in that film? It doesn't even have a good soundtrack. Even the first two Bill and Ted movies actually had a good soundtrack. That was part of Bill and Ted, was the soundtrack. And what did Bill and Ted 3 have in terms of soundtrack? That's a bit of its soul. You watch those Bill and Ted, 2 heads are better than 1. Or, God gave rock and roll to you, gave rock and roll to me. What the fuck was in the third Bill and Ted? Nothing. So fuck that movie. All it did was culminate in the ending that we had that was done better in the second movie. Oh, because they don't like the second movie. At least the writers. The writers didn't like the second film, so we gotta do it again. No, you don't. Worked well the first time. So fuck Bill and Ted 3. What, Matrix 4? That I ranted on in a trailer. I got called a lot of names. Hey, that's fine. I call a lot of fucking shitty filmmakers names too, so par for the course. Tit for tat. And tat for tit. But people go, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not how the movie's going to be. Yeah, well, that's why everywhere I look, people are saying how much of a piece of shit that is. And I'm like, why do I want to sit down for 2.5 hours to watch a piece of shit movie? This is a paid request. When I'm like, fuck that. I already knew it's shit. I said in the trailer reaction it'd be shit. It did what it would turn out to be shit. I said it was an unneeded film. I said it would be like one of the Disney Star Wars films in its flavor. That Neo won't just be the one. Because you can't have that anymore. Although I said Trinity would replace the one. Apparently, no, it's both of them are the one. Even though it's funny because Trinity died at the end of the third film and Neo was the one, but whatever. Bunch of nostalgia bullshit. Fuck Matrix 4. And guess what? Everyone else is saying fuck Matrix 4. Wow. Who would have thought that would happen? If it's a paid request, I'll see it, but waste 2.5 hours. Oh, man. I just like, I look at, like, Keanu Reeves, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? These bad decisions. Like Matrix 4, no one wanted it. Even the director didn't want to do it. I read up that the director of Matrix 4, she only did it because she was having some midlife crisis and wanted something to do. Because the studio was going to make that film with or without Lana Wachowski. It said, we'll do it with or without you. And Lana's like, well, I got this midlife crisis. I need something to fill my time. I guess I'll do it. Yeah, that's a way to approach making a fucking film. But that's people today, man. Just You did a guy who don't give a shit about Star Wars make The Last Jedi. You did all this other shit, man. Jason Reitman put his fucking daddy issues in the plot of Ghostbusters Afterlife. I didn't get along with my dad. Call a fucking therapist then. I don't want to see your therapy job focus as a movie. So you looked at these films. Knock Knock, Siberia, Replicas, Bill and Ted 3, Matrix 4. Other than the John Wick films, he hasn't done anything worth a shit, in my opinion. I know people like Bill and Ted 3. Some people may like Knock Knock. I am not one of them. I think John Wick films are the only films he's done worth a shit. So either you need to fire your agent, or you need to start saying no to shit. And not take every job offered to you, Keanu. Because what this does... it makes people go, well, if that film wasn't a hit, and that film wasn't a hit, and that film sucked, then we won't cast you in other big roles. That's why, like Siberia and Replicas, they didn't get much attention, deservedly so. Just, man. You need to pick better projects, man. You do. You need to pick better projects. That's not even going to this trying to be artsy-fartsy stuff like the Neon Demon and the Bad Batch and other stuff. Not the Star Wars show, The Bad Batch. This is a different Bad Batch. I don't know what the fuck Keanu Reeves is doing. Now he's like, I'm going to go back to my franchises. And guess what? Bill and Ted 3, Matrix 4, what? You don't go back to, what, Point Break? Speed 2? Or, was I guess Speed 3. Sadly, this makes me not want to see a Constantine 2, if it's this track record. I love Constantine. I always wanted to see a sequel to Constantine. But if it becomes in the same quality as this stuff, why would I want to see it? I mean, yeah, I'd like to see him return as a character, but again, if it comes off as bad as a Matrix 4, well, you haven't seen it. Well, you know what? I made some pretty good guesses, and it seems like a lot of people, yeah, you were kind of on point with that trailer reaction. You can't judge it. Well, guess what? This is a pen. You're over there, and you can't feel it, and you can't write with it, but I did bet you fucking know this is a pen. So yeah, sometimes you may not be able to feel it, it might not be right in front of you, but sometimes you can tell what the fuck is there. Sometimes I could be wrong, absolutely, but sometimes you do see something so clearly it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to see it. So Keanu Reeves, even Cyberpunk, that video game, all I've heard is a bunch of shit about that game. Because they fucked up releasing it, because they released that video game, which that's not Keanu Reeves' fault, but all this bugs and glitches, and it was such a piss poor fucking release that it sullied a lot of people from getting the game. Or they returned the game and they got their money back and they said, fuck this game. Someone asked me about that. I'm like, no, I'm not going. I didn't reply, but I'm thinking, I'm not going to buy that game. All this fucking bad shit I've heard about it. All the bugs and glitches and fuck-ups they did. Fuck it. Plus, there's other games I want to play before that anyway. So, Keanu, hey, I look forward to John Wick 4. I hope you don't fuck it up. I hope they don't fuck it up. Comes out 2023. But any other stuff you have going out, man, I like you. You seem like a nice guy. I like a lot of your older films. I am a Keanu Reeves fan. I did from Speed to the Matrix trilogy to, like I said, Street Teens I enjoyed. I love the John Wick films. The John Wick films have been my favorite action films in the past 10 years. Seriously, the John Wick films have been my favorite action films in the past 10 years. But this other stuff, yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know what's going on with these choices. Either you need to fire your agent, you need to start putting your foot down and saying no to some stuff. Sure, I'll do it. Sure, I'll do it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, you need to start saying fuck off to some of these people. No, fuck off. But with that said, I don't know what else to say. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.